My name is Mel House, the director of Closet Space.
Awesome. Okay, can we give just a little bit of a premise for people that haven't seen the film or heard of the film yet, that are horror fans that might want to check it out?
Sure. Closet Space is a story about 5 grad students that are looking for their missing professor. They drive out to a farmhouse where it's the last place that they saw him, and they realize that a closet inside the farmhouse is a gateway to an alternate dimension. So it's almost like a wormhole thing, and inside the closet are creepy, tentacly, malformed creatures. And so it kind of takes a Lovecraftian turn. It's not directly based on anything that he wrote, but it's definitely inspired by H.P. Lovecraft, as well as A Nightmare on Elm Street and From Beyond and movies like that, which are movies I grew up with and movies I love. So it's definitely not a slasher movie, and it's not like 5 dumb kids go out to the woods and get stalked by a guy with a big knife. Although I love those movies too.
That's awesome. How long did it take you guys to get pre-production, production, and post-production all the way through to completion of the film?
Sure. We started pre-production in, I believe, February of 2006, and we were in pre-production for 2 or 3 months, and then we started actual production in May of 2006. We shot like May, June, July, August, and the reason it took so long is we all have day jobs, so we're shooting Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, nights and weekends type stuff. So we would shoot, whenever we got a chance. All told, we shot for about 17 days, and then editing took me about 6 months, only because, again, I had to edit in that same schedule because I also have a day job. And we also had some fairly involved CG things. Such when they go into the closet, they're in another dimension, so we augmented that with some cool CGI stuff. It took a while to get that stuff rendered exactly how I wanted it. So it just took a few months to tweak it all and get the score perfect. But we were done, and we screened it. We finally did the world premiere last August. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Where actually did you have the world premiere?
We had the world premiere at the Studio Movie Grill in Houston, and it was a packed house. They turned away a load of people. So
wow.
Yeah.
Who all did your special effects and your CGI stuff for this?
Our practical special effects, all the deaths and kills and stuff, were done by Autopsy Effects, which is Marcus Cook, Chris Polidoro, and Derek Gorsuch out of Tampa, Florida. Marcus, he did the effects on Sweatshop. He did the effects on 100 Tears. He also directed that movie. Did the effects on Andre the Butcher. So he's a really badass effects guy out of Tampa. Our CGI stuff was done by Stacey Davidson, who is another filmmaker from Houston. He directed a movie called Domain of the Damned. He's directing Sweatshop, which I'm producing. And he's a badass. But basically, we're all just like guys in our bedrooms with PCs making movies. You know what I mean? So.
How did you find the actors and actresses for this? Were they people that you had worked with before, or did you send a casting call out? How did
it was actually a combination of the two. About half the cast I'd worked with previously, or I knew through the theater circles or whatever. We did do a casting call and cast, I think, 3 roles out of that. The lead actress is my wife, Melanie, who I met because she's a theater actress I was going to put in a horror movie. So, she was always perfect for the role. And everybody else we had built a relationship with, so I'm very loyal. When I find actors that are good, dependable, and don't have a lot of baggage to deal with, I'll use them over and over. I have no problem with doing that. So we're at the point now almost where I don't even have to do casting calls. I have like a group of 10 or 15 people that I can just say, okay, here are the next roles for the next movie, and okay, here you go, and we're ready to rock. So I don't have to do any casting calls. Pretty
awesome. Yeah. I know a lot of the greats do that too. They have people that are always throwbacks in their movies.
Right.
How are you planning on actually promoting this film? Are you going to conventions, or are you going to do the film festival circuit? Or how are you planning on trying to get the word out about the film?
It's definitely grassroots, and it's been awesome because now we've been promoting for probably the better part of a year, and we've been hitting all the conventions, all the Fangorias, Fear Fest, Texas Premiere Weekend, all that stuff. Sending press releases out to Dread Central, Fangoria, Blade Disgusting, all those websites, and what's badass is that we're at a point now where almost every show we go to at this point, someone comes up and goes, "Oh, I heard about your movie. Oh man, I totally know about, you know." And we've been bulleting it on MySpace and Facebook and message boards. So it's like the internet is what I saw. The internet is like the equivalent of throwing a gremlin into a swimming pool. You know, like you just put up one post and then, you know, it explodes out. Like I found Closet Space news feeds on German websites, Japanese websites, you know, Brazilian. I don't know how you guys found out about the movie, but it's awesome. So it's totally grassroots. It's just me in front of a computer type stuff, but it's totally worth it.
So almost like a viral effect in a way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's so
because
cool.
we don't have a huge marketing budget. You know, we didn't have a huge budget for the movie. Everything that we spend to come to the shows or do posters or whatever is pretty much out of my pocket or out of my other producers' pockets, and we don't have deep pockets. So, you know, we do what we can, but it does seem to be working, which is awesome.
How many other conventions have you guys been to so far?
This is we actually counted up how many conventions we went to promote this movie, and this is like the 13th or 14th in a row. So
wow.
Yeah, so we do a lot of them.
That's awesome. Any other? You had mentioned some other future projects. When do you expect them to be get into production with those?
Well, we're in the middle of shooting a movie called Sweatshop right now. Stacey Davidson, the guy that did our CGI, is directing that one. I'm producing it, and we have a lot of the same cast from Closet Space. Like I said, we're loyal and try to reuse people. We're just about finished shooting that. It'll be in post during the summer, so it'll probably be finished by the end of the summer. Then in May/June, I'm going to start directing my next movie, which is called Walking Distance. Another horror movie, very weird, more like in the Nightmare on Elm Street vein. I know I say Nightmare on Elm Street a lot, but it's my favorite movie in the whole wide world, so that's why.
So if any director you like out of all the horror directors that are out there, would you say Wes Craven has been a big influence on you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
With the Nightmare on Elm Street series?
Absolutely, the entire series. Those movies are the reason why I'm a filmmaker. Like a lot of dudes are like, Star Wars, man, totally turned me on to making movies. For me, it was a Nightmare on Elm Street 1 through 7, totally. So.
That's awesome to hear. All right, well, actually, I was gonna see if I could get some words. Actually, before you go though, any fun stories or weird mishaps that had happened on set that you'd like to share with the audience?
Well, probably the most tragic story was that since the monsters in Closet Space are other dimensional aliens, we wanted to have black blood. So what we decided to use for blood was milk that we put food coloring in and turned it black, because people had to put it in their mouth and stuff. Well, so we shot a lot of stuff in my carport, is where I built a lot of sets. So, you know, people are spitting out black milk and heads are exploding with black milk and it's spraying all over the place. And this is like Texas summer heat. It's like 114 degrees. So of course, whenever we shoot, I don't clean up immediately because we get done at 4 in the morning or whatever. So I go out to clean up a few weeks later, and the milk has sort of just like turned into a powder. So I'm scraping it off, and I'm wearing a muscle shirt. It's just kind of like powdering on me, not thinking about it. The next day, I get the sickest I've ever been in my life, and it's like I'm the food poisoning king, so I know what it's like to be sick. But this was like I had fever, cold shakes, like I started hallucinating and seeing shit. So I got online, I'm like, oh God, what is this food poisoning with fever? And it turns out that this type of food poisoning I got is only caused by sour milk. And sour milk gets so potent that it can seep into your pores and make you sick. You don't even have to ingest it. So that's what happened. I was sweaty cleaning up all this old milk that had dried up. It didn't even smell bad. And it seeped into my pores and made me totally ill. But I was super sick and thought I was going to die for about 6 hours. By 7 o'clock that night, I felt fine. So it was crazy. It was a crazy experience. So don't use milk for any of your special effects. Don't recommend it.
So you would maybe go with more of a Hitchcock approach, just like Hershey syrup?
Yeah.
Maybe it'd be a better idea than sour milk.
I think so. Well, what our effects guys discovered was that they could use non-dairy creamer, which doesn't go bad. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, you know, things you should have figured out a year ago. So now we know for Closet Space 2.
Awesome. And so there will be a sequel to this?
There more than likely will be, yes.
Awesome.